Aquarius. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your Friday is getting off to a great start if you're watching me live. Otherwise, I just hope you're doing well whenever you see this. Mr. Apollo's fresh from the groomer, so I thought I would bring him up to say hello. And as always, good to see you guys. We're going to be taking a look at the next month ahead. And the purpose of this is to help you navigate through all of the opportunities in front of you. And you can use this, as always, for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. And we'll actually go into the Sun, Rising, and Moon messages in the latter portion of today's reading. I always like to begin my readings with channeled messages. And channeled messages for me come through dreams and meditation. A lot of messages came today through meditation, which is kind of new, but it kind of depends on day to day and sign to sign. And a big part of what I was picking up for you as I was tuning into your energy today was about the ability to basically, if you can change your perspective and see what's going on, you'll realize that there's some like rapid real-time manifestation happening. And this is something that we saw a little bit with the last sign that I read for Capricorn. So let's get into it, folks, right into the reading. You are the channel. That's basically the first message here, because I was shown everything from like the magician's table, which for me represents a few things, and we'll get into that in a second. But first and foremost is your ability to create. There was a sort of immediacy to everything as I was looking at the imagery and kind of tuning into the messages. So now is the time to take some action. And there was definitely a note on self-care, which we'll get to in a moment. Let's start first with a pretty powerful message around the magician. So I've been reading long enough that sometimes I will see a card, a personification of a character from a card, or sometimes just the scenery. In this case, I was standing at the magician's table looking at all the different elements. And the energy and the information that I got wasn't so much like be the magician. It was what I put here in this second bullet. It's not how much you have or exactly what you have. It's what you do with it. And the magician doesn't have a lot, right? Just one of each element. The rest comes from source, and then the magician manifests. It creates. It basically comes up with something that someone wouldn't think about. It's the singular or unique energy that you bring to the equation. That's where the magic is. So there could be someone that has more years of experience, more money, more acclaim, and they can't do the same thing that you can do because you have the way to sort of like, you know what you want to do. It's the clarity of vision actually that's going to be super important today. So really focus on that second bullet. It's not what you have or how much you have, it's what you do with what you've got. And that's what makes the magic happen. So the other thing here in the third bullet is to change your emotional channel or your cognitive channel. So if you're focusing a lot on some of the lack that we just talked about, I don't have as much of this as that person, or they've done more with this than I've been able to do. Change the channel, become the channel, and say, I'm now ready to create. I'm inspired by that. Can I do the same? I can do the same. I am doing the same. So basically start to regain your power, regain your focus, and by believing, envisioning, and engaging with the elements and the energies in front of you, that's where the magic happens. It's about now, not later, folks. So I was shown the Three of Wands as I was meditating, and the ships are all coming towards you. What's creating the momentum? You are, interestingly enough. I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive because you would think the wind, but it's kind of like a magnet, right? So the Three of Wands is fresh off the feet of the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about seeing it and then recognizing, oh yes, some of what we just talked about with the magician. Now with the Three of Wands, there's one thing that's really important that doesn't always come through in a tarot card. Okay, so those ships are coming in and you're on the hill. What are you going to do to meet the ships halfway? Also, what if you're focusing, like we talked about earlier, on what isn't happening, what someone else is saying, and you're not looking at what's coming right in front of you? So staying focused, which we hopefully have been able to do as we talked about the previous message, and then starting to believe that this is happening now. It's not going to be happening tomorrow. And even if some of this stuff is happening in the future, the impact that I can have on it is today. So if you can change your perspective, literally and sort of figuratively, you can sometimes change your trajectory. And in addition to that, rather than living for the promise of what could happen, realize that today is when I can start to enjoy the fact that I'm creating. So live in the now and do things now Don't procrastinate for tomorrow. Don't wait for the payoff. The payoff is as you're going through it. This is something that I'm learning as I get older too. Like, it's cool to, I mean, it's amazing to have goals. I love having different projects and things like, again, I have a podcast that I'll be working on and launching sometime later this year. As I'm working with my producer on this one, what we both realize is the fun part is all the discovery. Oh, it takes this. Oh, this is how we would, and that, okay, we're going to disseminate it this way. Okay, we need a lawyer for that. All these little pieces that you pull together. And it's actually, once you start to have launching it, sharing it with you guys, that's the cherry on top. But the cool part is, like, I'm learning something new. And what better thing is there to do on this planet than to expand your knowledge, your experience, and also to be able to connect with others. So it's the process, not so much the product. The product and then the receipt of how that product is put out into the world, that's just a cherry on top. So I'd like you guys to focus more on the creative process. It's where the power exists. Okay? All right, on to the next one. So I was shown a flickering light bulb. Made me double check all of my power. I even like rebooted my my router and everything. I'm like, let's just make sure all of my electrical stuff is where it needs to be. So once I kind of ruled that out, I thought, all right, what this is really about is the sign that I'm reading for. And it's about making sure that you're not the battery for someone else. You have to kind of, and you're not relying on someone else to be your battery. You are the light. You're also the energy source. And I chose a very good card here to indicate how far you've come, the 10 of Wands. But it's also a card, and this is the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith illustration here that shows, oh, are we done yet? It's kind of like the kids at the back of the car. Are we there yet? When is this going to be done, Mom and Dad? That's not, again, the weird message that I got today is that you're where you need to be. You're progressing exactly at the time that you need to progress here towards the finish line. And today is a day to celebrate how far you've come, take care of yourself, maybe go get a chiropractic adjustment if you're feeling a little bit of strain. I got one yesterday, it helped. And then once you've been able to sort of take care of yourself, let's finish what we've started. And that was very much on point with today's reading for the one card reading, because we had a 9 of Wands. So you got the 10 here as I'm showing up for you, and you're almost there. Let's not give up. Let's really make this happen. Okay, so with that being said, that is the final channeled message. So let's get ready for the reading today, folks. So good to have all of you here. I was looking at chat. It looks like it's the first time for some of you showing up here. So it's my honor and my privilege to have you guys here. Let me go ahead and put a little bit of information. So in case you ever need to find more information or catch the replay, you know where to do it. So there we go. We'll pin that information there. And let's get going. I'm going to use the Last Unicorn deck. You can find that on my website, and I just pinned the link there. Okay, let's get started. Actually, let me bring this here. This can span the next 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're watching live and wondering, why is he doing it like before April hits? That's so that you're prepared. You can also watch what's left of the existing April one and kind of compare and contrast and see where you fall. All right, let's take a deep breath and focus. What's going on with Aquarius? You guys are busy. I just got the same, I believe it was in the same position. It was either for Sagittarius or Capricorn. Same 4 of Swords in the, or same positioning of that. Lots of 2 of Swords reversed. I got that yesterday as well. Different deck, but always cool to see similar energies across the readings. Love that you guys got the World here in the near future. So there's some big stuff happening. You're definitely in a less fearful place than what I was reading for yesterday. So power there with the King of Wands, 10 of Cups. Okay, I'm excited for you. I have to say, this looks like a lovely month ahead. Mostly opportunities, a couple of things with self-care. I feel like you've got this. Let's pull the expanded cards here and then we'll get into it. Yeah, this is a brand new deck that I purchased when you guys recommended some for me, actually. It's called The Last Unicorn. And if you go to my website, at the very top navigation, you can see decks, and it's the first featured one. Those are affiliate links, so if you want to support the channel, you can use those affiliate links. It's an expensive deck, but worth it. I'm really loving just the general energy of the spread so far. It's looking great. We have two there. That's okay. This is one of my favorite cards in this particular Oracle deck too. No, we just have one. Okay. Oh no, there's one underneath it. Okay. Very cool. All right. So let's go step by step. We're going to start with your Catalyst card first. So let's see what we've got here. It's all about the environment, and we had this card reversed. As I'm looking at this, this is a liminal deck, so there's a lot of like in-between spaces and things like that. It's almost like a tree-like energy, because I'm looking at the roots at the bottom here. But, yeah, you can kind of see a tree here, but there's a lot of... This is showing potential. First time seeing this image, so I'm taking it in with you. So rings of a tree represent years of your life. What we kind of see is a baby tree at the center here, and all these rings radiating out the future. And it really is nicely aligned to what I was talking about in the channeled messages, which is, yes, we project for the future. We look out several rings ahead, but we live in the now. And how much we feed and take care and nurture that dream or ourselves also affects the growth of our mind, body, and spirit, or in this case, the tree. So like here in California, we have a very rainy year. So if we were to look at one of the rings of a tree, it would be a really big ring because it's getting a lot of nourishment this year. So take care of yourself. Sometimes we can't always see immediate growth. And if you had a really meager year last year with respect to how much you were able to take care of yourself or receive, sometimes you have to take a little extra time to make up for that lost sort of energy. So focus a lot on your environment. Does it nourish? Does it give you the firm foundation you need? The environment is not just the four walls around you. It's the company that you keep. That's actually what was ricocheting in my head this morning before this reading. I was thinking of a weird connection from the past, and I was like, if I could talk to them again, and I disconnected with this person, and what I thought in my head, I was like, it's the company that you keep. And you are only as good as sometimes the company that, or your energy is going to have to meet that company that you keep. So for some of you, the work environment or the friend environment could be depleting, could be causing the flickering of your energy, which I saw. And my message from my own past and also from the guides is really pay attention to the company that you keep. It's the people in the environment that also help create the environment. So I want you to focus on those people. It might be time for some pruning, some distancing, and some realigning if you feel so called to do that. All right, now we're going to focus on the Celtic Cross. Celtic Cross, of course, is going to take you through the next 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to focus on the center 2 cards the most, and then we'll kind of radiate outward. So your center card is a really great one. The Knight of Wands, we see a king right over here. So I can already see a lot of growth. There could also be a partnership coming through. Also, this can be parent and child, but we'll talk more about that in a second. So Knight of Wands crossed by the 8 of Wands. Busyness. On the heels of success, 6 of Wands is when success happens, and then a lot of stuff starts to happen right after that. So some of you have checked off a few things on your to-do list. It's busy. Let's look at this card close up and talk about it. So what do you stand for? That's really what I get when I look at this. What do you stand for? Some people are coming through and wondering, who is this person? Who are you? What do you want? What can I do for you? And they may not ask this out loud, but this is a moment where, if you're in school or if you're in a job, there are quarters and halves of the year where reviews happen, right? Annual reviews, quarterly reviews, midterms, whatever you want to call them. And even with like taxes, we do once a year sort of thing. So, but we don't necessarily do it for ourselves, the internal audit. Right now, though, people are looking at you and there's this energetic question that's going on, which is, what do they stand for? What do they need? So some of you might be experiencing this in relationships where people want to take it to the next level, or they ask you, what do you want? You might be also feeling that urge within to talk to people. Again, if it's a place of employment, you're asking like, what am I doing here? Or what's the long-term growth potential? So I'm getting some soul searching going on with this. Knights are good at moving forward. So the only question you really need to ask yourself is, does this move me closer towards my goals and dreams? If it doesn't, it's time to change the direction. Take care of yourself right now. You're busy. We have the Eight of Wands here in the center, crossing the center, and I can see fatigue here when I look at recent past. Four of Swords reversed, not taking enough time to sleep or not getting enough quality rest. What's good about this, though, is this is the number one card I want to look, well, not the number one, but one of the key cards that I'd like to see for business. Actually, you got a couple here because the World card shows expansion, and then the Eight of Wands is busyness, and you can look at the calendar and see like several weeks or months ahead. You're able to predict. So for small business owners, for people maybe just getting out into the job market, for people that like to be busy, this is a good period of time. I'm seeing a lot of movement around work, career, and just schedules in general. Even if you're retired or a student, take care in this moment to not necessarily add one more thing to your, this is just enough. I feel like you got just enough. You could probably pull back a little bit if you wanted to. One more brings you towards the 9 or the 10, as you're getting closer to that of Wands, and it just becomes like exhausting or fatiguing, and I think you're exactly where you need to be right now. So finish what you've started before you add something new in. Got a lot of 8s here in the center, which is interesting. So we have the 8 of Pentacles. This is finishing up something amazing. It could be school, you could be expanding your knowledge, you could be improving your finances, simply learning. With each passing year, we just get smarter, hopefully. We have more wisdom. How we apply or absorb that wisdom is up to us. But I'm very happy with 8 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles in the middle and in the deep past. You've got the skills, you've got a lot of opportunity. The only thing that could pull you out of your zone is fatigue or a lack of presence, a lack of appreciation. Again, focusing on something in the future rather than embracing the opportunity right in front of you. So this is just as much about getting a certain amount as a certain quality. So it's sleep, usually here, 4 of Swords, sleep and rest. Some of you just aren't giving yourself enough time, or you could feel bored or uninspired. When that happens, it's a wake-up call to really move towards something that ignites your flame. And I think I didn't necessarily read it, but I know I had something to that effect in my presentation at the beginning. Let me look at it real quick, and we'll hit on that, and then we'll move forward. So let's see here. Let's see. Well, some of it is just the exhaustion. I might have taken it out. Yeah, I might have taken it out. But what I would say with this, I know I'd written it in an earlier version of this. So if you're bored, if you're not connected, it's simply the indication that what you see here is overdue. So the world is moving on, up, or out. And sometimes you just have to get to a certain point before you're ready to do that, okay? And if we look across the center, because this tells a story, past, present, future. So overwork, you've been working hard, you've been learning a lot, it's paid off, and there's a lot going on. But if you can't expand, if you're not expanding, if something isn't bringing you to that next step or level, it's not something that you can ignore. 2 of Swords in reverse is just what I said. You wish you could unsee or unhear or unknow something, but you can't. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So once something comes to your attention, better to deal with it in real time than to try to put it under the rug. It's just going to come out again. This is also a card of opening up to other opportunities and getting over indecision. At the end of the day, especially when there's shades of gray, when you're looking at 2 options, there's always something that just feels a little better. And at the end of the day, you also know, like, I have to make a decision. Somebody has to make a decision. And so it's better to move in some direction rather than just stagnate. So I really feel like that was some of the impetus with the energy of now, the nowness, if you will, that I was picking up on earlier. I'm excited about this. This can be new love, new job, new environment, which was something that came through that needed some improvement. it's change, but the world change is change that you see coming from miles away. It's not like the tower. When I was reading for yesterday's sign, we got the tower. Today, you've got a different kind of card. It's expansion. It can be just as scary as the tower. But I can say with a good degree of certainty, when the world is upright, when it's in the near future, and with all the beautiful cards around it, there might be a little bit of surprise on how fast this happened, but something good is happening. Something good is happening sooner than expected. Embrace it. That's what I see. Travel, distribution, expansion. If I had to pick like 3 words, these are what you should be focusing on. Looking and seeing what's around you. You might want to do travel for pleasure or leisure if you can, but there might be travel with work as well. We have a little butterfly on this one. When you open up to a new environment, it also expands your horizons. Sometimes you think you want to be somewhere. Make sure that you give yourself a chance to test that out. So if you are thinking of, for instance, retiring or going to school somewhere or taking a job in a distant city or country, spend some time there. Spend a couple weeks, maybe a month there if you can. Really sort of like feel out the environment, because your feelings can change after you've been there. But anyway, butterfly portending really good things, okay? Also connecting with this is abundance. All of this pays off. Some people are going to take note. It's not the last time that you're going to see like the 6 of Wands, which it's missing here, but we can infer that it came through because of the 8 of Wands. All right, on to the fun stuff here. Let's see how you're showing up. So this is good. You're organized, a little bit stubborn, and really want to, you really want people to listen to you. The Hierophant, not so much as illustrated here, but the Hierophant's good at a few things. So I'm working with a producer. I'm also co-producing this podcast that I'm working on. But what a producer does really well is sets up budgets and timelines and organizing all the different groups together. And basically, it's the point person. So you're coming through with a very producer type energy. People, what you want to project as you are going out there producing or directing is you're the boss. And this is one of the boss cards, actually. I would expect to see something like this in, as we see here, it can be in religious sort of things. So churches, schools, and government. This is an example of what the Hierophant can represent. But it can also represent structures in your life that you can depend on. So you're coming through as dependable, but you're also coming through as very traditional or very maybe organized to a fault. So I would love for you, as you're doing all of these things right, to also just kind of give yourself room to experiment, to sometimes even say, okay, this is all perfect here, but I'm going to allow myself to be creative here, or this may fail, but we need to experiment with it. Because all companies have a research and development company, or department rather, where not everything is going to stick, but from the experimentation, from the sandbox, from playing around in the sandbox, new things come through. So the only thing that's lacking that I'm seeing for some of you is because of a fear of failure or a rigidity in schedule or structure, experimentation, playing around, trying something for fear of failing. You have to keep exploring and experimenting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it hits, it really hits, and that's what inventors and business women and businessmen do. They try different things. You have the key. I like that this guy has the key. The crows are interesting, or the ravens are interesting here because you want to listen to the feedback, because these are messengers. So there could be some really good feedback, but if you're too focused on, again, rigidity in the structure or the timeline, that could mess things up. That's all I see here. Otherwise, we like the Hierophant. It's wise, it's organized, and it's respected. Not a lot to hate with the Hierophant, okay? As we look at what's going on around you, there's someone that's a little bit impatient. We can see the Hanged Man as a figure in your life. It's reversed. In the upright position, it's basically saying, take a pause, you're where you need to be. Things may not be going as fast as you want them to. I think you're aware of everything that I just said, but someone else, parent sometimes, like, when are you going to get married? These are questions we shouldn't be pressured, by the way, sometimes, but when are you going to make me a grandmother or whatever? Like, step back. Let someone be exactly where they need to be. That's a big decision. Why haven't you gotten a job? What's going on here? So there's someone around you that's pushing questions at you. It could be boss, parent, friend, mom, dad, and you're going to take a deep breath and you don't even have to answer. because it's not worth it sometimes. These are just maybe well-intentioned, but with just a little bit of a barb or an edge on it. So don't rush. My thing to you is don't do it until you're ready, because all the things that I mentioned are commitments, they're contracts, right? If you're bringing a soul into this planet, you're agreeing, just like I agreed with Apollo that I will take care of him until there's no more breath in his lungs, right? So, same thing with the kid. You got to be ready for that. If you're going to sign a job, you're actually signing a contract, buying a house. Be ready. If you're not ready, you're not ready. There's opportunities opening up to you right now. I would say for you, don't be afraid. I'm here more as your cheerleader. I'm not here to nag, because I said the nowness of some of these opportunities is definitely there. So there's opportunities knocking. One thing that I would say as your advocate and as your reader is, you strike me as prepared. You strike me as knowledgeable. You strike me as someone who can do it, if you want to do it. So what I would say is, what do you want? What's the hesitation? Perfection's never going to happen. Not like, there's a reason we keep reincarnating. That's more of sort of like an angelic goal. We're always going to have room for opportunity. So don't hold yourself to being perfect. Hold yourself to being present and the best version of yourself that you can be. And if that was all that was holding you back, you're okay. You can go forward. If there's something where it's like, that's what you want, that's not what I want, that's what I want you to focus on. Figure out what you want, because it can happen now. This happened now, and maybe you didn't even want it to. Imagine what will happen when you're really connected to something. So I'm not your parent. I'm here in a different role. I'm just here to kind of like open up the third eye a bit. So don't rush to anything. That's what this is saying. I'm the opposite of the people nagging you. I'm just wanting you to be present, to evaluate, what it is that might be causing the delay, and then to move past the delay when you're ready. You're the boss. You're the boss. King of Wands. This is opportunity. For some of you, it's fear. I love that we have, the bull comes through in a few different categories in this particular spread, but I do like that we have a really bold energy for this. So when you really feel like all of the things I can, I will, I am. So the ability, the presence of being, and then I'm actually doing it. Then you can do it. This is saying maybe for the next big thing in your life, you have to be at the helm. Whether it's doing it on your own or being in a position of power within an existing structure, you have no less than 2 of the bossiest cards that I could pull. This is someone at the top of the heap that everyone looks up to, and this is someone who wants to be heard and wants to be seen, and usually is a very good leader. Even though we have sort of an intimidating energy on this, typically the King of Wands is a pretty friendly energy. It is fire, so I see why they chose that, but it's basically someone who is kind of work their way up the ranks, and you know that they can roll up their sleeves and do the work with you, but you also know that they're exactly where they need to be for the ability to see things. So I see you as visionary. I see you as someone who can be bold, be stubborn if you need to be, because the King of Wands is pretty stubborn, so is the Hierophant. And I've known a few Aquarians that definitely have that energy. And I think that can get you where you want to be. So believe in your strength. That's what I would sort of say to you. Believe in your strength and your leadership ability. It's coming through pretty strong today. All right, what's it all about? Well, at least in the outcome of this particular spread, love, support, new people coming into your life. We have the 10 of Cups here. And by the way, I love that the unicorn is in the background there, but basically there's something singular, unique, or unexpected about the next sort of invitation, because this can also be a group that invites you, and the card is reversed. So some of you may think, I'm never going to fit in there. I love that the unicorn, though, is in the upright position here. So sometimes things happen exactly when they should. Don't second guess your deservedness of love or acceptance or community, because that's really what I see coming in the long run. Yes, love, for some of you that are seeking love. But it's different. This time around, it's different, and it's not necessarily what you or someone else thought it would be. And that's what makes life fun and interesting, right? It's the unexpected. This person could also be coming through from a network, like an existing work or friend network. We'll look deeper into that in just a moment. In fact, it's a nice segue. We're going to expand the forecast, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health and well-being, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. All the legalese beneath is basically just saying I'm not a substitute for a doctor, a financial advisor, or for a therapist. What I am is an intuitive, and what I'm trying to help you with today is to see opportunities and help you see your free will to make the best decisions. If you need help, you can reach out to any of those professionals, but let's look at what the energy is saying today. This was reversed, but it says, living with purpose brings me prosperity. Amen to that. The card is reversed, so some of you might be really focusing on, what is my purpose? And that's an okay question to have. What is it you want to do? What is it that you feel you bring most value to when you're doing in this world? So I had to just talk to someone the other day about and I've said it enough here that it's ingrained in my mind. Everything that I do, whether it's this or a conversation with someone or, a newsletter, it's all about raising consciousness. And then I like to have intelligent conversations about spirituality. And then I like to demystify and destigmatize spirituality too, because there's still a lot of misconceptions and misperceptions. It took me 8 years to probably get it to the point where I could, I don't have a card, I just have it in my head. So give yourself time to practice and figure out what it is. And I keep changing. I think initially it was just raise consciousness, but I'm like, I want to do more. I want to make an impact. I want to get past the stigma of talking about this. Figure it out, and then you can always add to it. Start small and simple. It may just be in this lifetime you want to have fun, experience more love, teach, learn. You can start with the kernel, and then you can build onto that kernel. Once you have your general purpose, then it's infectious and viral in the best sort of ways. It's magnetic is a better word, taking out the clinical piece. It's magnetic. You pull people in because they want some of what you've got. So you just have to get that sense of, it's the heart. You're gonna tune into your heart. If you don't feel it, it's not the right fit for you. Don't do it then, okay? Let's look at some other energy for health this month. I mentioned this earlier. If there's something that doesn't feel right in your body, or if you've noticed something that's out of sorts, absolutely bring it up. The Two of Swords reverse is saying, I can't unsee, unfeel, or unknow. So talk to a professional, get their opinion, get some information, do some research. Some of you, not all of you, but some of you are either burning the candle at both ends, or you're just having some interruptions in the sleep process. Could be biological, could be a baby, could be stress, whatever it is, that needs to be sorted out for those of you that are feeling it. For the rest of you, this is impatience. It's probably environmental because we picked up on 3 cards here. So this is the person or the environment, and it's causing this. So sometimes the way that we deal with stress is just sit there in bed at night and think, I don't know what to do about this. So whether it's environmental or emotional or physical, please make sure you're getting the rest that you need and deal with that. Some of you are stressed out about school because these all kind of go together, but it's going to be fine because I got the World card here. Could be a move. So the dust settling, it takes a little bit while for you to kind of get your footing. I see some spiritual growth and development because the Hierophant is a holy card too. So you might be opening up, and that can be something that the expansion can be a little discombobulating. But overall, it's pretty good. Empathy and emotional sensitivity definitely coming through pretty strong here. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. Just when we're looking at health, definitely, this is the first card. The catalyst is what can either enhance or detract from your overall expansion for the month, thus the name catalyst. So environment's everything. Make sure that you're happy where you're at, and if you're not, do what you need to improve that. All right. That's everything for health. Let's move on to wealth. So what is wealth? First of all, resources, life, purpose, and career. We have a reverse card here, solar plexus. This is power, by the way, light bulb. Even though it came through as a light bulb, that's the color, 2700 Kelvin, that kind of golden light. So that could have been what I was seeing. And your solar plexus is right there. It's right around the belly button. So the reversal of this, someone's tugging at your energy. The reversal of this, there could be also a feeling like I'm not this or that enough, as we talked about. Some of you might be overdue in letting go of something, okay? So it's kind of like labor. There comes a point where you have to give birth because you just have to for the health of yourself and the child. So that's kind of what I'm getting, is that energy of now. Let go of something, bring another person in if you need to look at something. So if this is a tangible project, you've done everything you can at this point. Hand it off, focus on something else, and then talk to the person that looks at it next, and the two of you can partner up, okay? So give yourself some room to breathe, let go of something. Don't hold on to everything. Don't feel like you have to be Atlas holding up the world. If you can create some space, all that energy of research and development that I talked about can start to come through as well. Okay. Power struggles, because again, we're looking at wealth. So resources, life purpose, and career. So what this basically rules is sometimes when you hold back or hold on to something, you're not allowing something else to come in, and you can't kind of go into this energy of the boss, which we want to happen for you. All right, let's just take a quick look at the cards here. I feel like some of you are on the precipice of getting what you want. So there could be a transfer for work, graduation, acknowledgement or attention, or some sort of movement. The world moves, right? The world is not going to be a stationary card. It's expanding, it's moving, and it's taking you with it. So hopefully you're ready for that. So good news for most of you. It feels like it's a good place to be. We see your leadership coming through, and we also see people loving and supporting you as long as you believe in it. If you love it, they'll love it. Don't rush something that isn't done. I said holding on to something. If you're holding on for the right reasons, like, no, this is actually poor quality. It's not me having a lack of confidence. We're missing this, and this, and it can't go out. Then this person rushing you shouldn't be rushing you. Maybe you do hold the key on this one to keeping something from being, a failure, and that's good. All right, let's just look at them as growth potential. I definitely see for some of you a moving up. The Knight to the King is a nice upgrade, so that's exciting. There's some unexpected surprises. There could be someone that wants to come in and look at stuff and inspect things. So if you're building something, expect that the boss or the owner or the person that's sort of like paying for this is going to come in. So I see an unexpected visit. They should be happy if you're happy with the progress, but just be prepared for that sort of thing. It's really, really busy right now, and you have a lot on the horizon, and that's why your body needs to be solid so that you can go into this butterfly world and into the 10 of Cups as well. Because if you're too tired or you're too sleepy or you're not paying attention, this takes longer. I still feel like it's going to happen no matter what, but I want you to be really ready for it and hit it out of the park. It's just good energy this month that I'm seeing for the most part. This is where the opportunity for improvement is, this and this. So believing in yourself, changing the environment, leaving a toxic environment, getting enough rest, and not rushing. If you do that, then, the rest of these are good. Opportunity to partner up possibly on something creative. A lot of busyness coming through, a lot of work. And again, some recognition. It's a good month, folks. If I see something challenging, I'll tell you, but I don't here. I see growth, and it's just a couple of cards that are holding you back. So I feel like you earned this. All right, so should be a good month for expansion when we're looking at work, career, money, etc. What's going on in love? Let's take a look. I always read the Oracle card with the overarching energy that could be any of these things: romantic, platonic, friends, and family. Then I break this down, and I'll look at it in some different categories. But let's just read it as love. Love is all around. Love is everybody in your life. And so this is interesting because this is the second tree that we got. So we have the tree here, and now we have this topsy-turvy environment card. Basically, what we're looking for is more foundation, more support, more predictability in the relationships that are core in your life. If it's not there, it's not there. You can only fix things to a point. I was plant sitting for a friend who gave me a bunch of succulents to watch, and they were just in the rooting phase. I'm like, some of these aren't going to make. She knew too, but I was so of the 16, I only lost 2, and I watched them for a month, and I got 4 of them to sprout. So, and the rest of them are still alive. But in the sprouting phase, you can't force something once, especially when we're looking at, these are dragon fruit too. They're either going to take or they're not at a certain point. There's a certain amount where you just let it callous, you put it in the pot, you missed it, you hope, you pray, and then it's sort of like, I can't make it something that it's not. And I think this is so valuable for those of you that are trying to make someone something that they're not, whether it's your partner, especially a child, or anyone in your life that you're trying to affect. All you can do is give them a key, give them support, and let them know that you're there to talk to. But they have to take the key, open the door, and believe in themselves. So all I could do for the plants is give them the environment and the love and the nurturing. And it's either like, you're going to come to life or you're not going to come to life, but I did everything right that I could. So do everything you can. And if someone still is resisting, this is the message I'm getting. If someone's still resisting, this wasn't the time. And I strongly believe in not forcing stuff. As I'm trying to set things up for this podcast thing, if someone doesn't answer my calls or my emails, I'm like, they're just not into it. That's not the one. Let's move on. So same thing with people in your life. If they're not responding to you, this includes especially job applications. Don't force it. I talked about this before, but there was one job that I interviewed 5 times for. And ultimately on the 5th time, this was the universe slapping me over the head and giving me, like, wake up. Speaking of the hanged man reverse, I got a speeding ticket because I was running late, but that actually made me even later. And then they were I blew it because of that. I wasn't that late. It was like 10 or 15 minutes late, but they're like, you don't care about this. And I was like, no, I actually had a speeding ticket because I think I forgot my jack. All these things were going wrong, but the 5th time it didn't work. Then they went out of business 2 months later. I got a better job that stuck, and I was there for 4 years. And the place that I interviewed 5 times that I had a hard time getting them to commit to me, and they just had to keep meeting with these people. And then I got a speeding ticket, and then I couldn't, and then they didn't like me, and then I felt bad. And then months later at my new job, I got a little notification that the company went out of business. Don't force it. It's either going to work or it's not. And when it doesn't work for a reason. Rejection is protection. Okay. All right. Let's look at these cards here in 3 different categories. In love, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in love, you can also think of this as the person that you love the most. So this can also be, again, non-romantic, just unconditional love. All right, so for those core relationships where love is the central theme, let's see what's going on for you. There's some really strong personalities. This is a pretty bossy card. This is a pretty bossy card. And it does feel like one person has a little bit of superiority, or they feel like they know better. They may not like to say that, but I see it here in the energy. So the challenge is, I think you're a lot more equal than maybe you or the other person gives the other person credit for. Like attracts like, you're together for a reason. So you're complementing, you're not competing, you're not completing, it's complementary energy. So you wouldn't be together if you weren't similar. And so helping them see the similarities, let's assume it's the other person, will be key here rather than highlighting the differences. One or both parties feels like they're not being acknowledged or appreciated. So simple things, thank you, I love you, or I really like that you did this. So confirming things will help. More communication, because we only have one swords cards. Yeah, 1 card in swords, and it's one where we're not communicating well. The other one, no, we have 2. So this one's not doing enough, and this one's not seeing or hearing. So yeah, I want like a page or an ace or any of the other swords cards that are kind of like in that positive energy. I just feel like one or both of you are busy too. This is like someone with a busy schedule. This is someone that could be going to school. We could have both of these. So let's break it down. Honestly, it feels like we have 2 strong people, 2 smart people, 2 similar people, and they're looking in 2 different directions. So we just need to kind of bring them together to spend a little bit more time, have a good conversation, figure out if they're still on the same road. And it's one or the other. We don't have a lot of middle ground here. You're either fine and you're going to get through whatever challenges are here and it's going to continue, or this is make it or break it, basically. So you're going to continue and grow old together, things are good, or you're going to move on. Because the world in the 10 of Cups, it's basically saying, if you're not in for the long haul, then it's time to get out. It's time to move on, okay? but the world is progression and it's big. So it's big commitment or big growth or movement away from something that's going to allow for all of that. Okay? I'm going to be the optimist and say all you have to do is come together. Same place, same time. Could be long distance issues here as well. You could be dating someone from another country. But anyway, once you can get in the same room, then we get the 10 of Cups energy here. So same room, same page, similar energies, complementary, not competitive, not one versus the other. That's the key. As long as you can see that, you can thrive. If you can't, you might need to reach out to an expert. I can only help you with where the blocks exist, okay? All right, for those of you that are looking for love this month, yeah, you can find it for sure. It's in the opportunity space. It's someone very strong-willed. This could be, it's a fire sign. It could also just be someone that, this would be inconvenient. Could be a fire sign, could be a boss, could be someone at work. We want to avoid that if possible. But yes, here's the only thing that's going on right now. Are you ready? Are you truly ready? And I'm not just saying that to be sort of like silly or facetious. Two of Swords and the Hanged Man. It feels like there's a lot of stuff going on elsewhere in your life. The work, the learning, the little bit of fatigue here. I feel like you need to kind of get all of that oriented first. This will happen faster than you could imagine. There could be a difference in faith. There could be a difference in country of origin, culture, faith, and timing. They're all not what you expect, but you could find someone this month. Be open. That's what I got for you, basically. And this person may want to do something faster too. So the 10 of Cups could be jumping into a long term faster than you think too. So are you ready? Are you ready for long term? Are you ready for a really strong energy? Could you deal with differences in culture, religion, background? If you can, some cool stuff awaits you. I hope you can if you're open to that. All right, resetting it. If you're not in love and you're not focused on love, or you're over it, you're rebounding and you're like, I just want to focus on the world at large. Single and happy, it's a good time to get out and explore. Something really cool could happen from travel. I see a lot of growth and development in a in a small amount of time. So rapid growth in a concentrated period. A lot of movement in money and in career and in knowledge. Your network is opening up. You may still meet somebody, even if you're not looking. I see this a lot when I'm looking at single and happy. This is one of the best cards next to the Lovers or the Two of Cups, Six of Cups. I'll take any of those, but I still see like networking and love and appreciation coming through for everybody this month. It's a good month. Let's move on to Destiny. Got two cards for Destiny. One of them is my favorite in this Oracle deck. So they're reversed, but it just means hesitation here. This is one of my favorites. I think there's an Orion card that I like too, but Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. If you're watching my channel, it's probably not your first time around this sun. You've had many lifetimes, all of us have, and you're connecting to this sort of, you're starting to pull them all together. You don't have to have recollection of them. Your soul, though, is kind of whispering to you and saying, we've done that before, let's do this. Or I know this is challenging, but you've had something in you knows that you've done it before, you can do it again. So this is like the wisest version of the, if we could put together the Hierophant, the Hermit, and Judgment. This is your Star Ancestor. It's coming through saying, I'm ageless, timeless, and deathless. I always was, I always will be. I'm eternity. We are eternity. We're just living a brief instant, a brief shard as this version. So once you realize that, things don't freak you out so much. I'll get through this. I've probably done it before. What can I do better this time? That's what you want to meditate on. That's what the Star Ancestor is coming through. Do it better. Do it different. Don't repeat. We don't come back to repeat. We're not into reruns when we reincarnate. So much power in this reading. So much power. So the Lord is the Emperor, because that's an old title, but it's also your connection to the universe. I just said you're ageless, timeless, and deathless, but you're also a co-creator. We're also, you could see it as shards of the source energy. So we're all connected to source. And this is basically saying take charge with authority. Being that we all come from the same source. No one of us has any more right or claim to anything than the other one. So at the end of the day, we all have a chance for success. We all have a chance for love. We've all experienced pain or disappointment. It's very equal in that sort of respect. So take charge. What have you got to lose? No, you can do this. That's basically what this is coming through and showing. Okay. Let's take a look at your big idea for this month. What's it all about? How can you make the most of it? Yay. Get the Six of Wands. Not surprising to me at all, because we had the Eight of Wands and I referenced this a little bit earlier. So you may have to take a step back from your schedule. Not an easy thing to do, is it? So a lot of you have built up like all these little things that you're doing, errands and appointments and meetings and dates and all this jazz. And if you were to take two of those things off your plate, you could get to this energy of the Six of Wands. So Wands is the only suit I do this with, but you can subtract and do better. Particular, like again, if you're at the Nine of Wands, you either need to push to the finish line to the 10 or do a little less, get back to the 8. If you're at the 8, sometimes do a lot less and delegate and get back to the 6. Once you've reached some success, then you're asked to go back to the drawing board. You go to 2. You're constantly going up and down. It's not always about escaping the suit of Wands. We sit at different things for a while. So what I get this month is you're supposed to do less but better and leave a little bit of room for something new. Because you also might be asked to travel. Six of Wands, you're on a horse. There can be traveling with this. You might be asked to lead a charge, start something new, get some people excited about it. So you're going to have to delegate and let go. You are not less because you're doing less. You're allowing yourself to do more by kind of opening things up. A couple of years ago, this is a good organic way to put it up, I don't give private readings. One of the reasons I don't give private readings, one, is to differentiate me from all of the crazy imposters out there that pretend to be me and offer them. But it was also so I could do more videos, so I could do more production, so I could do a podcast, so I could do different things. Because there was a time where I had to do like 4 days of readings, like private readings, and then also I could only do 12 at the time. Now I do 50 videos a month. And that only was possible by not doing that. So I had to give up something with the faith and hope that something else would be able to take its place. So, and then as I do different things in the future, I kind of go in and out of stuff. You have to be able to pull back from that, do a little more of this, try a little of this, move it around. Success is not, it's not rigid, okay? So you can do less and then open yourself up to do more. That's why you're going to continue to go up and down. It's a kind of sliding up and down the scale of the of the suit of Wands to get to the Six of Wands. All right, let's look at this from sun, rising, and moon perspectives and see what's going on there. All right. Yeah, Apollo's just happy not to be at the groomers. I just picked him up this morning prior to this. That's why I had to delay it for 15 minutes. He's just like, thank you, Dad. All right, let's look at this. We're going to look at sun, rising, yay, we got the star, and moon. Okay. These are all showing where the growth and opportunity is, so I'm glad we do this portion. Starting off with your sun card first. I mentioned the Nine of Wands can feel overwhelming. I think it was this morning's. I do so many readings now, it's hard for me to remember sometimes. Sorry, wrong. So I just wanted to zoom in a little bit on this one. So this is such an unusual illustration for the Nine of Wands. This strikes me a lot more as like Eight of Swords, but I get what's going on here, which is sometimes you just feel the pressure. The cool thing though with the Nine of Wands, especially if we were to look at the traditional illustration, is that it basically represents a couple of things. One, you are nobody's fool and you're not going to give up very easily. 2, you are also kind of like a cat with 9 lives. You're on your 8th or 9th, but you're good now. So, oops, here it is. We have the 4 of Wands underneath that. So here's your 9 of Wands card. We get the bandage on the forehead, right? And then it's someone who's like, this again? And you don't want to get into that. So the prison that we see in this 9 of Wands is that line of thought. I'm not sure if I can do it, or I'm too tired. I talked about fatigue when I did the daily card pull, or it could just be feeling like, ugh, this is just a lot. So I like to look at this one as that look on the guy's face can be a couple of things. It can be, this is a lot, or you're not going to get me down. I'm going to see this through. And there, in the Light Seer's deck, she's a lot more empowered, and she's just standing there with one like torch in front of all the rest, and she's like, nope, we've got this. So you've got this. There's a little bit of a mental or physical challenge or an emotional challenge. The 9 of Wands is tricky in that respect, and it is something that you have to overcome. You can listen to my 1 card pull for today. I talked about that a little bit, but the key thing to do is really to take care of yourself, to remember everything that we talked about. You can let go of some things that aren't serving you, and know that you came this far for a reason. Why not see it through? Why not surprise somebody and show them that you absolutely have what it takes? That's the message for the sun sign today. Let's move on to rising. Hello, star, and hello, unicorn. So this is a beautiful energy for rising and ascendant. This can touch all aspects of your life, like work, your social sphere, love, the people that you're bringing in. We actually saw the unicorn because it was reversed. So the star card, when I'm looking at love in particular, can be past life. Because it's sort of going back to the soul, especially if I get like the star and the sun. That's a very powerful relationship energy. So for you right now, as the star, we can think of our own sun as an example. It's the glue. It's the thing that people look to for guidance, for inspiration. Sometimes it's that attention that can be a little bit overwhelming. We're not looking for the same. We're looking for different. So I love that the unicorn's the star in this deck. Have you ever noticed that, like, when we look, music's easy because we can hear it everywhere, but mainstream artists, they usually break out not because they sound like everyone else, but because they sound different. Where they sometimes slump on the sophomore album or sometimes the 3rd album is they work with someone who tries to produce them to sound like others, where the best artists just keep changing it up. And it's not what you expect. Sometimes sophomore albums are better. I'm not sure if Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia was her second. I think it might have been, but like it was different and no one was really doing that at the time. And so just change it up. Do something that's not expected. Do what's authentic, and that's key. Don't let someone come in and try to change the frame, the context, or anything of that nature. It's a good month for expansion. The star and the world have equally expansive energies. I'm really excited about what this month could bring for my Aquarians out there. Definitely keep me posted in the comments below. Put a little unicorn and let me know what's going on in the comments as the month progresses. All right, we have the 6 of Swords in reverse. And this is for my moon sign here. So all Aquarian moon, there's a little bit of resistance to the next phase. 6 of Swords is about releasing the past. We got a little bit of that here, actually. Now there's a commonality between these. There are 4, depends, there's a lot of death cards, but there's death, there's judgment, there's a 6 of Swords, there's the 4 of Swords. There are other ones, but these are the ones that come to mind. This is a peaceful sort of release. Things kind of just, as time passes, you get clearer and clearer and you can let go of things. Mourning and healing takes time. This is much more active. And so for my Aquarian moon viewers, some of you are a little bit afraid of taking the step towards change and towards movement. It is expansive change. It is growth that I see you moving towards, but it's that first step towards change. We don't even see the boat on this one, and usually there's a boat. You could also be taking your first steps off the boat onto the shore as well. We could read this as a couple of different things. So when I think it might have been the weekend, again, doing so many videos, I can't remember when I say certain things, so apologies. But I remember likening sort of like when you wake up, you're kind of like in that in-between zone, and it's sort of like you have to actually put your feet on the floor for a second, take a deep breath, and get your balance. That's kind of what's going on with this. So whether you're stepping onto the boat or off of the boat, the first moment of change, or once you're like saying, okay, it happened, I'm here, both of those require a little bit of presence of mind, presence of being. Travel could be happening unexpectedly, quickly. Again, I think it could be bringing in good things. It could be bringing in love or other opportunities. Overall, folks, it's a good month. There really wasn't anything super tricky. We didn't get 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 10 of Swords, Tower, Devil. None of that stuff came through. A little bit of change with the environment for sure, but I feel like once you change up the environment, open your mind, and kind of get connected to your purpose, some good stuff is underway. All right, we're going to do one more part to this reading, which is a final card after we meditate. So think if there's something that I haven't asked or something that I haven't answered, you can ask mentally once we get to that final card. In the meantime, before we do anything, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe before we meditate, because we're going to go out into space for a second. Give me a follow on social media. As always, remember, I don't give private readings or anything of that nature. And if you're ever questioning who's the real Nicholas Ashbaugh, go to my website and you can see all of the links to my official social accounts there. And here on the main YouTube page, you can go to the About as well, and it should all be there. Okay, and if you want to give back with super stickers or super chat, you can do that now. Let's get into the meditation. For today's meditation, I really like this card, the Star Ancestor. Yeah, we're going to focus on that. So imagine that you are standing in front of the pyramids at Giza, something I think we've all seen in a picture. We can all conjure up what that looks like. Focus on the stars above. On this card, you'll see 3 cards, the Belt of Orion here. They basically connect with the 3 pyramids. So I want you to focus on those 3 points of light overhead. And know that you've been on this planet before many lifetimes. You're here now. You'll be here again probably. So what I'd like you to do is focus on making now count. So look into the stars above you. Look at the pyramids. Look at everything that's been done on this planet and think, what do I want to do differently this time? And as you look into the stars above, imagine that it's looking into the past. So imagine that you could transport yourself to one of those stars and look at your past in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes, and allow for the past knowledge, even if it doesn't come through as a visual. Just be open to receive the knowledge from the stars above. Show me what I did before. Show me what I'm destined to or challenged to do in the future. What's it all about? Sit back, breathe, relax. I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll take a look at your final card in just a moment. All right, everybody, take a nice deep breath. I'd like you to come back to your body, to this lifetime. Allow yourself now to feel that you are connected, that you are empowered, that you are the source of energy and insight, and that that's going to help you in the months and days ahead. Hopefully y'all can see me and hear me. I wasn't seeing anything on my monitor on the side. It looks like some of you had issues. If you could see me without any issue, let me know that. I clearly know some of you had some connection issues, but I'll take a look at the replay. Hopefully you got the whole reading there. It looks like it was only a little bit at the end. So anyway, keep me posted. Let's focus now on the final card. Welcome back, everyone. Focus on your final question that you have for me. And let's get everything shuffled up here. Okay, good. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, for some of you, I did see that in my dreams. I saw that there could be some power issues, so don't freak out. It'll all be available on the replay. Usually I get a warning at my end, and I didn't see that. So, all right. Focus on the question. Let's pull a final card. Let's see what the answer is. We have the Queen of Wands. This is auspicious. Why is it auspicious? Because we got the King of Wands. All right, so Queen of Wands in reverse. Ultimately, this is one of the bossiest cards I could pull, even more than the King of Wands. She definitely has a way of getting what she wants. She is someone that not many people can say no to. So if you embody this, or if you embrace this, there is an undeniable sort of power, charm, or energy about you this month where if you just push a little bit, you can make it happen. And it might be using your charm. So smile, engage, be empathetic, but also be strong and just say, yeah, but we agreed we're going to do this. Let's figure it out. So just, I think that's what it is for you, is riding that middle where you're not going to relent, but you don't have to be cruel in order to get what you need. You've got a lot of power and a lot of opportunity this month. The challenge with her is to keep an open mind. And we got a little bit of that with the Hierophant as well. So I think the big challenge for many of you is listening, considering new things. And if you're not ready to agree with someone in a certain moment, you could just say, you know what? I think that I need to sleep on this. I need a little bit of time. I need a little bit of consideration on this. Okay? So that's gonna be the sort of like key to your success and happiness. All right? All right. By the way, thanks for letting me know what was going on. That's actually more of a buffering issue. The spinning, I bet you if you go back now and look at the video, it'll be fine. So there's a reason I kind of only go at 1080p and not 4K, and it's because it takes a lot of bandwidth to live stream. So probably what was happening was there was some stream congestion, so it just pauses until it's ready. As long as you could hear everything I was saying, it shouldn't reappear on the replay, but I'll check it out when I put in all the time codes later. So thanks for letting me know. Thank you everyone for being present today. Again, let's get to 350. I'd love to be there by next week so we can do a Q&A. If we can get to 349, I'll probably just do it in anticipation of, and hopefully we can hit it during the reading or something, because I have an extra day next week and I'd love to do the reading and we're so close. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And if you know someone that would enjoy this, let me know. Thanks to everybody for showing up today. I do appreciate your time and your energy and presence today. It makes it all worth it. Let me take a moment here just to say thanks to those who gave back. To the newest members, I'm going to welcome them first. So Gina, thank you for being a member. Terry, thanks for joining. And I think that's everyone from today. Someone else joined, but the channel's gone, so I can't read the name. Super stickers and super chats. Let me say thanks to those who gave back as well. Lucy, Tony, Catherine, and Maria. Thanks for all of your support and going a little bit above and beyond. It helps me continue to expand, create new decks. And this podcast, I'm putting a lot into it. So thank you so much. I'm also investing in that. So we'll have later this year about 10 fresh episodes, something different, something new. Date to be announced. It'll be in the middle to latter part of the year, but more to come. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Lots of love and light. You have a great month, it looks like, and I would love you to keep me posted in the comments below on what's going on. In the meantime, reminder, I'll be back on Sunday. I haven't posted that the video link yet. I'll do that later today so you can set a reminder, but it's always Sunday around 9 in the morning. And all my weeklies are, well, I should say the weekly Sunday reading is 9. Everything else is around 11 or 11:30. And that's the Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And then I have a daily video every day as well. All right. Lots of love and light to all of you. Take care, and I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye.